Good morning, Nachum. Good Erev Shabbos, everybody. Tomorrow we have the privilege of reading Parshas Shelach. According to the Chinuch, Parshas Shelach contains a total of 3 mitzvos, 2 positive mitzvos, and 1 restriction. Needless to say, every year when we encounter Parshas Shelach, we always ask the question, how could they unbelievably reject Hashem's plan of His bringing them into the land of Israel? It is most fascinating to note that we can probably contrast the 12 spies that Moshe sends with that which he tells Bnei Yisrael within the last days of his life, as can be found in Parshas Devarim, chapter 1. Moshe is reviewing that which happened in the Midbar, because after all, most of their parents died in the Midbar. And now, what does Moshe say? Moshe says the following: Vatikruvun Elai Kulchem. You came to me, all of you. And this is in chapter 1, Pasuk 22 of the book of Devarim. And you said, let us send Anoshim, let us send spies to spy out the land. And guess what? Hashem said, you asked for it, you have it. I'm not taking away your free will. Now let's remember, did not Hashem already promise Moshe in chapter 3 in the book of Shmos, in the book of Exodus, at the burning bush? Did not Hashem tell Moshe, this is the game plan. The game plan is, I will take them out. You will be my representative to speak to Pharaoh. I will take them out of Egypt, out of their servitude, and I will bring them to Eretz Tova Chova. I will bring them to a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. So very clearly, this was a twofold message. By the time the Jewish people come in the beginning of Devarim to ask to send spies, Hashem has already brought 10 plagues to Egypt. He's already split the Red Sea. He's already revealed himself to more than 2 million people, something which the world never had or has seen since. And now we are about to enter the land. I ask you, should they have been afraid? As indeed Rashi says on the word kulchem, that you came, all of you, to me in a state of one word, irbuvia. Irbuvia means in a state of panic, in a state of commotion, instead of coming in a respectful, orderly way, that the elders come first, and then the younger people. Here there was pushing and shoving, and the younger people came first. You can sense that word panic from Rashi's word, Irbuvia. They all of a sudden panicked by listening to the 10 Meraglim who said, Ki chazaku mimenu, that even God cannot defeat all these nations. It's too hard for us. Clearly, what are they doing? As David HaMelech says in Tehillim Kuf Vav, and I'd like you to bring, if you can, to the table Tehillim Kuf Vav, and I will show you some very interesting psukim. Chapter 106 of Tehillim is a summary of that which took place in the desert by David HaMelech. And you have the following, starting with chapter 106, verse 24. Vayim asu be'eretz chemda. The spies spurned, or there's no nicer way to describe Vayim asu but to show disgust. They showed disgust for Eretz Chemda, the desirable land, the land that Hashem called Tova Rechava, Lo Ha'aminu Lidvaro. They did not believe his word, the word of Hashem. And David continues, Vayirognu ba'oleihem, they grumbled in their tents, Lo shamu b'kol Hashem, not listening to the voice of Hashem. David continues in Pasuk 26, Vayisoy yado lohem, he took an oath against them, la'apil osam b'midbar, to bring them down in the desert, ula'apil zaram b'goyim, to cast their descendants among the nations, lizarosam ba'aratzos, and to disperse them throughout the lands. I'd like to ask everybody, bring a chumash to your table, and let's try to find in this week's parsha, where after they bring back the evil report regarding the land of Israel, that God takes a vow to disperse them throughout the world. Where might we find this? I'd like to present what you might call the needle in the haystack, and I would like to share with you a brilliant insight of the Netziv in his commentary Hamek Dovar on Pasuk 21 in chapter 14. Hashem hears Moshe's prayer on behalf of the Jewish people, and the familiar verse with which we begin every Yom Kippur, pleading Hashem once again, Vayom Hashem solachti kidvarecha. Hashem said, I have forgiven because of your words, but interestingly, not because of the Yud Gimel Midos, the 13 attributes that we're familiar with in Parshas Shelach, after the sin of the golden calf, and after the Gemara tells us in Rosh Hashanah 17b, after the Gemara tells us that Hashem Kavayocho enveloped himself in a talus and taught Moshe that when you are in trouble, the Jewish people, emulate me and recite the Yud Gimel Midos. So here Hashem is saying Salachti Kidvarecha, but the Netziv says not because of the Yud Gimel Midos. However, Ulam Chai Ani, literally translated, Pasuk 21, as I live. Ulam Chai Ani, Rashi explains, is a Lashon Shvuah. Hashem is taking an oath. We're not told what that oath is. But the pasuk continues, V'molei kvod Hashem es kol ha'oretz. Hashem is taking an oath, and the glory of Hashem shall fill the entire world. The Netziv says beautifully, Chai Ani is not simply who is speaking and by my life, but he points out that in Bereshis, in Parshas Miketz, when Paro says to Yosef, Ani Paro, so what does it mean, Ani Paro? Yosef is being told who is talking to him? No. B'chilo yoda Yosef mi medaber imo. The Netziv asks, Elo, Ani b'chashivosi b'kolchi lasos gedolos. The word Ani reflects the greatness of the one speaking. So here as well, Kavayocho, not only Paro uses that word, but God himself uses that word. He is swearing by his name Ani, and he brings several proof that what does Ani mean? I, V'molei kvod Hashem es kol ha'oretz. That is modifying who is doing the speaking. I am the one whose honor and glory fills the entire world. Says the Netziv, here it is. Here's the needle. We found it. What does that mean? Hashem is saying to Moshe and the Jewish people, had you listened to me, had you had faith in me, you would come into Eretz Yisrael, Moshe would build the Beis HaMikdash, and because of the continuous, wondrous, miraculous way that Hashem would conduct himself with the Jewish people, the entire world will see it and come and appreciate and know that there is Hashem in this world. But, as David says in 106, Vayim Osu Becheretz Chemda, you unfortunately despised and rejected the land that I chose for you. You rejected that Hashem should take them in. But you said Ephes. However, the people are so strong and they cannot defeat the fortified cities in Canaan, you failed to believe in Hashem. Hashem says, plan B, I will then disperse you throughout the world. You will be successful, and then you will be too successful. And this has repeated itself time and time again throughout Jewish history, that the nations turn upon you and want to obliterate you, but Hashem saves the Jewish people from their hands. Hence, V'molechu Hashem es kol ha'aretz, instead of the glory of God emanating from the Beis HaMikdash, the glory of God will come by God's saving the Jewish people throughout history. I just wish to conclude that we are living in such special times. Since the Holocaust, we are now approaching Ukrosem Dror Ba'aretz L'cho Yoshveha. We're approaching the mark where more than 50% of the Jewish nation will be in the land of Israel. We're not quite there yet, but we know Kavod Hashem, the glory of God, the technology of Eretz Yisrael helping the entire world. And they know this, how we have seen B'li Ayin Hara, His protecting us in Eretz Yisrael. Wow, this is showing us that we are living in such special times that, please God, we are moving in the direction of going back from Plan B, being dispersed and saved throughout the world from anti-Semitic persecution. But now we are going home, and the best is yet to come, that Hashem, Yimolei Kvod Hashem es kol ha'aretz, God's glory fills the world, as the world watches in dismay as they see the continuous close connection between Hashem and His people. Shabbat Shalom to all.